we were talking about the bryophytes as fuel. They are also used in horticulture because they are soil additives. They make the soil more fertile. They are high water holding capacity, and peat is an important soil conditioner, and it's used for agriculture and horticulture purposes. So these bryophytes are used as ornamental plants also to decorate our houses. Then in fiber industries, they are used in lining of diapers to improve the absorbing power. I told you they absorb a lot of water, and even that it is useful for the nurseries. The owners of the nursery, when they transport plants, at that time they use the bryophytes in them along with the plants because they absorb a lot of water, and it is useful for transporting plantation. Used in hiking boats to absorb odor and moisture. Then women also wear their steam like structure in the hair and decorate themselves. So they also have some medicinal plants like spagnol, chilblains, scabies, acne and other forms of skin disease are cured. Used for curing of alein arising from insect bites. Ash of moss is mixed with honey and fat to treat cuts, burns and wounds. It is also used in many more medicinal uses. So these were the roles of bryophytes. Talking about pteridophytes, the pteridophytes are of four main types: the whisk ferns, club mosses, horsetail and ferns. Out of these, some of them have only equisetum, like in horsetails only equisetum is left, rest all have gone extinct. Then the pteridophytes, the general characters are that they are called the ferns or fronds also. They are the plants with feather-like leaves, and pteron means feathers and phyton means plants. They have vascular bundles in them. That means xylem and phloem is present. They are living also and fossil forms also. 400 genera and 10,000 species are found. They have a sporophytic body, and which is differentiated into stem, root and leaves. And sporophyte is also there and gametophyte is also there, but they both are independent. They live alone. They don't live on each other like in mosses. Then pteridophytes, they show much variation in form, size and habits. They may be annuals to large perennial trees. So they are terrestrial. But for fertilization they require water. Most of them have herbaceous stem. Their leaves are scaly. Sessile means they do not have a stem, petiole, and some of them are having large petiole also. The small leaves are circinate venation. That is, they are coiled inwards. The leaves are coiled inwards. You can see the picture. Then based on the leaf structure, pteridophytes are classified into microphyllous and macrophyllous. Microphyllous leaves are single with a single vein. Macrophyllous are those in which the leaves are divided into leaflets. Okay, like you can see in bill ka patra jo hota hai, in that you can see there are three leaves. Okay, actually they are not leaves, they are leaflets. So one leaf is divided into three leaves. That is actually one leaf. Similar, so that is macrophyllous. Okay, so that means many veins are there, series of veins. Here you can see in this picture also. Here it is a petiolate leaf, and how this is one full leaf, and this is one central one is a midrib. So this leaf is divided into so many leaflets. That is macrophyllous. Then coming to pteridophyte, then some stems are usually branched. Then monopodial or means single branch. Dichotomously means very much branched. Then branches do not arise from the axil. Leaves and stem possess trichomes. Trichomes means hair-like structure. Stomata are present. Root and stem have well-developed vascular system. Then they show secondary growths also. That means in cambium. Then vascular elements are well developed. Then the vascular structures are commonly called as stelae. Stelae is actually the circles of vascular bundle. So these stelae are of various types. You can see in the picture. Then pteridophytes have their xylem is made up of tracheids. Xylem vessels are absent. Phloem conduct food and material. Then photosynthesis is restricted only to the leaves. Talking about the reproduction, they reproduce by spores, and their spores are produced in the sporangia. Sporangia are born on the ventral side of the leaf, that means on the lower surface of the leaf. Spore of the leaves which bear the sporangia are called the sporophylls. Then in aquatic forms, sporangia are present in specialized structures called sporocarps, like means fruit like structure. Okay, so they are called sporocarps. Then plants may be either homosporous or heterosporous. Homosporous are those plants which bear same type of sporangia. The male spores and female spores are same. In heterosporous, two types of spores are present. Large sporangia, megasporangia are called megaspores. Small sporangia, microspores. Okay, then these microspores are the male and the megaspores are the female ones. Sporophylls may be either aggregated, as you can see in Ecdysatum, that the sporophyll is aggregated in a compact cone form, or they can be very much leafy and well uniformly distributed. Then in true ferns, sporangia are located on the lower surface of the leaf. Here you can see in the pictures also that they are in the lower surface. The spores are present. Then spores are wall is thick and differentiated into exine and intine. The homosporous species developed from the development of gametophyte is exosporic. That means out of the spore, from the outer covering of the spore, the gametophyte develops. In heterosporous, the development of is endosporic. That means gametophyte develops inside the spore wall. Okay, then there is no physical connection between the gametophyte and the sporophyte. Then much variation in gametophyte among different species are found. Then talking about heterosporous types are always dioecious. Anthridium is the macrospores give rise to female prothallus and the microspore give rise to male prothallus. That means both the plants are different. Then sex organs are embedded in the prothallus only. Anthridium is surrounded by a sterile jacket, as in the mosses also. The jacket is always a single layered. In the mosses also it was the same thing. And anthrozoids are spirally coiled with two apical flagella. They have two flagella. Archegonia has again differentiated neck and venter. Neck is projected, venter is embedded in the prothallus, and on that venter is present the oospore. Okay. Mucilage attract anthrozoids. So the liquid form mucilage inside the neck attracts the anthrozoids. Water is essential for fertilization. Egg and anthrozoid fuse to form the zygote. Zygote forms the sporophyte. The zygote then divides to form the embryo, and this embryo will grow up into form the sporophyte. Pteridophytes shows typical heteromorphic alteration of generation. Again, alteration of generation means there is a gametophyte, diploid generation, haploid generation, and there is a sporophyte, that is diploid generation. Main plant body is a sporophyte. Okay. Here you can see life cycle of pteridophytes. The sporophyte bears the microsporophylls and megasporophylls. They are two and diploid. Then these microsporophylls, that is the leaf, they contain microsporangium, the structures which contain spores. Inside them are the microspores. Okay, micro and megaspores. Then these microspores are actually the male gametophyte, and megaspores are the female gametophyte. So these male gametophyte, so they give rise to male gametophyte and female gametophyte. Now male gametophyte bears the anthridium, female gametophyte archegonium. They fuse to form the zygote, and then embryo is formed, young sporophyte, and the sporophyte again is formed. This is alteration of generation as well as the life cycle of the pteridophytes. So here it is the same thing, that when the sporophyte sporophyte bears the spores, the spores are containing n number of chromosomes. Then they develop into this gametophyte. This gametophyte will, in this gametophyte there are two types, sperms and eggs. They will fuse to form the zygote. This is the gametophyte actually. Okay. So this gametophyte will then be, this is the spore bearing structure. Then these spores will grow up into new these gametes will fuse and form the new structure, that is new sporophyte. So then coming to the types of pteridophytes. One is Coelophyta, then is club moss or Lycophyta, Spinophyta, horsetail, then and Pterophyta, that is ferns. Then the Coelophyta are the most primitive. They do not have, their rhizoids are rootless. Then they are very much branched, photosynthetic. Leaves are absent. So then come to Lycophyta. They are differentiated plant body, microphyllous leaves. That means the leaves are microphyllous means their leaves are single. They are not divided. Then Protostellate, sometimes siphonostellate, that means the vascular bundle contains rings. Then sporophylls aggregate to form strobiles. Then gametophyte depends on the fungus for food. Then in the horsetail they are fossils except equisetum, that means only equisetum is left. Differentiated plant body, stem is joined with nodes and internodes, scaly leaves, and sporangia forming cones. So then in ferns they are very widely distributed vascular cryptogams. The differentiated plant body, stem mostly rhizomatous. Then leaves are macrophyllous, that is very much divided. Okay, main midrib has many leaflets. Young leaves show circinate venations, as that means they are coiled. Then sporangia form sori on abaxial side, so on the lower side of the leaf, or you can say sporophyll. Then anthrozoids are multiflagellates. So this is the end of the content. Thank you.